Hello friends, I'm WIldsmith, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Four Holy Gospels, a really special project from Crossway and artist Makoto Fujimura. Okay, this Bible today is not a new Bible. It's actually been around for 10 years. It's the 10-year anniversary of when it came out, but I wanted to share it with you because it's one of my all-time favorites. It has a special place in my heart. So this is the Four Holy Gospels, a project that Crossway published with an artist named Makoto Fujimura. Now, Makoto Fujimura has become kind of special to me. I love his paintings. I love his writing. His connection to Fuller Theological Seminary was one of the things that kind of put Fuller on my map when I was deciding to go to seminary, and I decided to study there. And so the first time I ever heard about Makoto Fujimura was this project. It was released in 2011, and it was in celebration of the 400th anniversary of the King James Bible. Crossway did this really big celebration for 400 years, and they released a limited edition number of these special Bibles that were honoring the legacy of the KJV. It's an ESV translation, but it's basically an illuminated manuscript of the Four Holy Gospels done by this painter named Makoto Fujimura. So a friend of mine in early 2011 showed me a video online about this project where the artist was talking about it, and it was this beautifully done video. I'll put a link in the description so you can watch it, and I was so excited, and so I called up my girlfriend at the time, Becca, who I was living in Nebraska. She was living in Tennessee. And I said, hey, you got to check this out. She has an art degree from Belmont. She is a painter. And I knew that she was going to love it. So, and I was just, the look and the feel of this, just even that video, it was unlike anything I had ever seen. I'm going to show it to you in just a second when I'm done talking. But I showed it to Becca. She was marveling at it. And then a couple of days later, I opened the front door of my apartment, and there was this box leaning up against my front door. And I opened it up, and it was this Bible. And Becca, my girlfriend at the time, had ordered a copy of it. She must have ordered it right as soon as we got off the phone and had it shipped to my house. And I absolutely cherish this as a gift from my future wife, but also just because of what it is. And it really inspired me. It unlocked something in me and a love for the Bible in a new way that was really, really beautiful. And the story actually gets better because about 6 months later, Becca and I went on a trip to New York, and there was this really, really small art gallery that doesn't exist anymore. It was called the Museum of Biblical Art. It was over by Central Park, and they had a display of all of the major works from this project. So there's these big pieces for each one of the Gospels, and there's all these little drop caps, and they had a small display, a small gallery dedicated to the Four Holy Gospels project. And so one Sunday morning, while we were visiting New York, Becca and I went into this gallery and we started looking around. And we were the only people there. It was us and a security guard. And as we were standing in front of one of the major pieces, I got down on one knee. And when Becca turned around, I had a ring, and I asked her in front of all of these beautiful pieces of artwork inspired by the Bible, I asked her if she would marry me. And she said yes, thankfully. It was one of the best days of my life, and this Bible was an important part of that. And so here in honor of 10 years of loving this Bible, yeah, it'll look great on your coffee table, but it's so much more than that. And it really means a lot to me. So I wanted to share it with you. It's called the Four Holy Gospels from Crossway and artist Makoto Fujimura. Okay, I'll start by giving you a look at this hard-sided slip case. Mine has been beat up a little bit over 10 years, but it's got one of the pieces there on the front. It's just a black slipcase, again, bumped and bruised, but it's kept everything pretty safe. That's really nice to have on an edition like this. And then here is the Bible itself. It is a cloth overboard with these artistic designs in gold and red on the cover. There's the spine right there, if I can get it all in there. The Four Holy Gospels, ESV, English Standard Version. Crossway, really good. It's gotten a little dusty over the years, but as far as size goes, this is just under 11 inches wide and just over 15 inches tall. So it's a pretty big coffee table book, and it's about an inch thick, but overall just the size is really great for sitting on your table. Open it up here and you immediately are met by this beautiful artwork from Makoto Fujimura. Get inside. So this is the frontispiece. There's 5 major works that he painted for the project. This is the frontispiece for the entire thing. It's called Charis Kairos, the Tears of Christ. Beautiful piece. These are massive paintings. There's this, and there's one for each of the 4 Gospels. I'll show you those as we go through. These are massive paintings. In person, they're just brilliant, and if you get to see them in person, you can step closer to them and see all the depth. But very, very beautiful abstract artwork. This Nihonga style, which you can learn more about. There's the copyright page, the information about when this was printed a decade ago, the table of contents. You do get a beautiful foreword from the publisher, kind of talking about the project and their commissioning of Mako to do this thing, this project, and then an artist's introduction from Mako, where he talks about the style of the artwork, the 5 different pieces, the legacy of illuminated manuscripts. He mentions here the Book of Kells, which I've actually seen in Dublin, and it was it was wild to be so familiar with this, and then this project, and then a few years ago to go see the Book of Kells and to see the connections there. I do see the inspiration. So a note from Mako. And then you get into it, so there's these little pieces at the beginning of each gospel, and then you get the main piece for each book of the Bible here in these 4 gospels. This is called Consider the Lilies. I believe that's taken from Matthew chapter 6, the Sermon on the Mount. And this is the painting, this real painting, is the one that we were looking at when I proposed to Becca at the Museum of Biblical Art in New York. And I did not get a good picture in there because we weren't allowed to take photos, but when we visited these paintings at the Museum of the Bible a few years ago, I kind of did a recreation of what I saw in that moment, standing behind her as she looked in on this painting. But wow, this just means a lot to me. And then when you get to the text, so you get these main paintings for and inspired by each of the 4 books. Then you get drop caps all the way throughout these letters, and you'll see these continue to come through. So the first letter, kind of a very traditional thing, but it's this really brilliant artistic style. And then the third element really is the painting in the margins. This is kind of the illuminated manuscript. So as you go through, as Mako is reading the text and being inspired by the text, he's painting in this style and going around the text. And you see in some places it's very small and sparse, in other places it gets more in depth. I believe I saw an interview with him or read something where he said as he got to the Gospel of John, he started painting over the words and got more all over the place and really in depth as he did it. But so you just go through and you're getting the text of the ESV this would be the 2007 text because that was the most updated one when they made this. But I have this one. This is a W. So from Matthew chapter 11, Becca got me a reprint of that Mako signed, and I have that hanging in my office. That's something that means a lot to me. And then just kind of you go through it and you see this. Wow, look at that. I'm not going to flip to every page, but you see like at the end of Matthew, I love. As you go through each one of the Gospels and you get closer to the crucifixion, you kind of see the themes start to change to envision what's happening in the text. Look at that. And then here, after the Great Commission, we get this beautiful gold mixed with the darker ink and paint. It's just beautiful. So then I'll show you Mark. The main piece from Mark is called Water Flames. Again, this is one that when you see it in person, there's so much depth and nuance to it that it's really powerful. And you can read about each one of these pieces in the front. I'm also a big fan of the piece for Luke. So there's the end of Mark. And then we get to Luke. And this is a beautiful piece here called The Prodigal God. I know that Mako has been close with Tim Keller over the years. The Prodigal God is a really beautiful book by Tim Keller, and this is another intricate painting. I keep saying that, but if you see in here, there's these like etched or written in. It's the story of the parable of the prodigal son and his brother and his father, and it's inside the painting written in there. This one is absolutely beautiful. Again, because it's such a big book, the font size is really nice and bold and large. It's easy to read. You can sit down and read this at the table. And if you wanted to just read straight through one of the Gospels, I think this would be a really beautiful way to do it. Just a really unique, interesting way to do so. Getting to the Gospel of John. So we get to the end of Luke. Here you see again in the sections that are detailing the death of Jesus. We get to the Gospel of John. The frontispiece here is called In the Beginning. Isn't that beautiful? So it's just such a unique, beautiful piece. Obviously, it has special meaning to me because of how I got it and how it's kind of played a part in my life with Becca. But it's also just a really beautiful version of the four Gospels that, yes, it has sat on my coffee table or in our house at some point for the last decade. It's been prominently featured, but I also often find myself opening this and flipping through it, particularly when I'm reading the Gospels. It's just a beautiful way to look at this. So sparse, and then just there you go, just a little bit of that, and now we're getting to the end of the Gospels. Man, so beautiful. Here at the end, you do get some information. Oh yeah, they included the textual notes for the New Testament from the ESV, so that's all here at the back. So if you actually wanted to see some references and things like that, you can get that with this Bible. And then you get a colophon at the end that gives you all of the information about the publication and the design and the typesetting and all those sorts of things here for this project. But truly a unique and wonderful piece of work. So there you have it. That's the four Holy Gospels from Crossway and Makoto Fujimura. I would love to know what you think about this, so leave me a comment. You can also see more about this Bible, some photos, a write-up of it at BibleReviewBlog.com, and I'll definitely leave some links in the description to where you can purchase this Bible. They still have this available. You can buy new copies of it from Amazon and Crossway, so definitely check that out. And the paintings, the collection that are the original pieces of artwork that are found inside here, they often travel and go on display. So a few years ago, Becca and I went to the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C., and they had a special gallery with all of these paintings, and we got to go back and visit them again and see them again after several years since we'd seen them when we got engaged. And so you can definitely check out Makoto Fujimura. He's got some fantastic books. He does some really incredible and inspiring work that's not just painting, but written work that's all inspired by his faith and by his relationship with Jesus and by his love of Scripture. And he's been a really inspiring person to me, and I'm sure that you will love to check out more from him as well. So I'll put a bunch of links there. As always, check out Bible Review Blog on Instagram and Facebook. We have a great community out there. And while you're here on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Bible content like this. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for going on this little journey with me down memory lane. This is a really special one for me. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time.